Hey guys, I'm Joardee, and with the release of Icecrown Citadel coming up very soon, I thought now would be a great time to answer a question people keep asking me. What should my guild be focusing on for the first couple weeks of ICC release? So that's what we're going to do right now. Go into what the different types of raids are and what you should be spending your time on week 1. Now, why is this important? Because if your guild's like mine, you only have so much time per week to raid, and you'll want to make sure you've budgeted the time that you need to clear everything instead of getting stuck on some of the earlier heroic bosses and running out of time to tackle the later ones on normal. This will help you maximize your loot income and make your raids in subsequent weeks all the easier. Okay, so the first type of raid that we're going to discuss is what we'll call Raid X. This is your raid full of moms and dads that are likely going into things without doing much research or preparation. Getting all 25 of you online at the same time isn't easy, so your raid composition might be what some might call atypical. Looking at you for Fury Warriors. And not everyone has microphones that they're willing to use when it counts. This raid should focus on normals only week 1. Maybe give Lord Marigar a few attempts on heroic, and definitely give Gunship a shot, but other than that, just focus on seeing all the content on normal and collecting that 264 loot early. Bosses like Putricide, Sindragosa, and especially the Lich King are still quite difficult on normal, so make sure that you have time to learn those. Will go a long way toward future heroic progression down the line. Okay, so some tips for this type of raid. Try to get 10 mans done before you step foot in 25 man. That loot will help a ton as well, and you will also get some work on the mechanics of the raid before you get your big group together. Also, make sure your tanks and healers have a meeting ahead of the raid and know what their assignments generally are going to be. You don't want to find out mid-raid that your guys have no idea what they're doing. Okay, that's Raid X. Now let's talk about Raid Y. Raid Y is the type of raid that you, dear viewer, are likely in. You work on your parses, you watch guides, you probably have an assignment sheet and maybe a loot prio guide. By the way, all these things I'm able to give you with a simple subscribe to the channel and maybe a Patreon subscription. The link is down below. This raid should be looking to do about half of the heroic modes week 1, maybe a bit less. In order of the difficulty that you're looking at: Gunship, Lord Marigar, Rotface, Valithria, and Festergut. These are what you should be shooting for week 1. From here, if you feel comfortable, consider throwing a boss or two of the mid-tier difficulty in. These guys are a big step up from the easier ones, so don't focus on these too much if you're running out of time. Bosses like Lady Deathwhisper, Blood Prince Council, Deathbringer Sourfang, and Blood Queen Lanethel. All of these are very doable, but absolutely harder. So if you're looking to invest your time into these, you need to plan ahead. Make sure you've got your strategies ironed out and people are prepared with the resources that they need going in. For this raid, I'd also recommend 2 to 3 full nights week 1 or 2 until you've got things ironed out. That extra raid time will go a long way. And remember, you still want to get Putricide, Sindragosa, and the Lich King dead week 1. Although absolutely do not try them on heroic. They're just too difficult early on, so work on what you can and then drop to normal for these guys. Alright, that's Raid Y. Now let's talk about Raid Z. Raid Z is the type of raid that has some of the best players currently playing this game. 99 parsers, theory crafters, gamers that really take this hobby of ours to its limit and want to improve week after week. This is the type of raid that will get together for PTR in order to better learn the fights and has a strong loot council and performance-oriented attitude. This raid should likely know what they're going to do going into this, but if there's any question, you guys should be shooting for 11 out of 12 heroic bosses in here. Putricide and Sindragosa are tough, but doable week 1 with some strong progression pulls and focus, so buckle down and get working on them. Like with the other types of raids, doing your 10 mans ahead of time will help tremendously, so consider that to smooth out your gear score going in. And then once you've cleared 11 out of 12, spend some time on Heroic Lich King. It's a doozy of a fight, but you're going to want to use your limited pulls to begin learning it, so make sure you have time to do that. And finally, Raid Omega. This only applies to a handful of raids, less than 10 I would say, that will be able to kill Heroic Lich King week 1. This is without a doubt the hardest encounter we faced to date. In this raid, your progresses, your nodas, your beef bars, your Newmans, these raids will be able to do it, but are the exception. If you're not them, don't think about getting him week 1. It's just too hard. Okay, well that's it for this little expectation setting video. I think Fusion is somewhere in between Raid Z and Omega. We're going to be pushing for Lich King, but it's looking pretty difficult, so we may not get it, and that's okay. Having the challenge is super fun, and I can't wait to get him down finally in the weeks to come. Speaking of weeks to come, I've got assignment sheets for ICC, a loot prio guide I did with Pummel coming soon, both of which are already out on Patreon, so if you're looking for them, check the link below, as well as boss guides for all of ICC coming out on the channel, so make sure you subscribe to see those in your feed. All right, and that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.